Now we are live. Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon to all. We are on live right now. PFEC Global is leading education and migration consultancy firm based in Australia, and we provide our clients a dedicated support with their education and migration journey. And today's live is very special. So we have Preeti Saini, our education counselor from PFEC Global Melbourne branch, and we have a very special guest, Manisha Patil. She's Assistant Student Recruitment Manager from Kaplan Business School. So, welcome Preeti and welcome Manisha.
Thank you, Devna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Devna. Hi, Manisha. Thank you
Hi,
for sparing
Preeti.
your precious time today for this live session. It's
My
pleasure
pleasure.
having you here. It's
Thank
pleasure,
you.
yeah, it's pleasure having you here with us today. And yes, you can start your presentation, Manisha.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. To all those who are listening, my name is Manisha and I'm a student recruitment manager from Kaplan Business School. I would like to share a small presentation just to introduce and tell everybody what Kaplan Business School is all about. So, Kaplan Business School, we are a higher education provider offering undergraduate and postgraduate courses in business, accounting, business analytics, and a very newly launched IT course. Now, Kaplan Business School is in existence in Australia from 2008. In fact, our very first campus has been in Adelaide. But Kaplan, as in overall, has been in existence in over 80 years now as a part of a Kaplan family. So we have a global recognition as a part of a Kaplan Inc., which exists in 30 different countries and 400 different locations, which means that we recruit 1 million students every year. If students graduate from Kaplan Business School, you become automatically a part of a global network. In Australia, we do exist in all major cities, as I mentioned. We have campuses at Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and our very newly launched Gold Coast campus. Now, this has been one of those popular destinations all over for the students as well. And most of our campuses actually exist within an easy access to the transport. Now, campus transfer is also possible if students want to transfer their campuses from Perth to Adelaide or any other campuses. If there is an availability in the campus, definitely you can apply for a campus transfer. Now, before I go into deep dive about the courses and talk about our fees, course, and things, I would like to just give a bit more introduction about Kaplan Business School. Now, why does it sets us apart in spite of being a private provider? We have few recognitions and rewards over the years, but very recently we have been awarded as the Business School of the Year for the Pioneer Awards in 2023, which was just held last year in London. Now, for those who don't know what is a Pioneer Award, it is basically a global recognition, a global award that recognizes innovations and achievements globally in the international education sector. So it's a big recognition for an education to be recognized as a business school of the year. Apart from this, we have few other recognitions in past. As I mentioned, this was not the first time that we got a Pioneer Award. We have been recognized in past in 2021 as well, especially for the support service that we have through Kaplan Business School, which I will speak in detail later. One of the main feature about Kaplan Business School that we are really proud of is the lifetime of learning guarantee, which I have just mentioned on the slide here. Now, what is a lifetime of learning guarantee? Learning for any student is not just current, it goes on for lifetime. Once you graduate, you take whatever you have studies in future for your career. And this is where we support our students through our lifetime of learning guarantee program, which means if you are a graduate of Kaplan Business School, you can continue to access all the study material online or even the career central or any kind of benefits that our current students get. Our ex students can also benefit. So we look after our students even after they have graduated. in terms of giving them some support after they have graduated. Over and above that, I'm really proud to even announce this, that we are one of the only out of 9 trusted private providers who have self-accredited authority for our business courses, which means yes, we can accredit our business course. Now, this is just a bit about the Kaplan Business School. But talking about support, I'm sure a lot of listeners today might be thinking, why should I choose a private provider in spite of being, so many other providers in industry? We pride ourselves for the support that we give to our student, and it comes in 3 different areas that we support all our students in our campuses. First one is the Academic Success Center. Now, for those who don't know what Academic Success Center does, it basically, when a student is new in Australia, for example, and doesn't know, probably not aware of the mode of teaching in Australia, because you come from a very different background. We all have learned a different way of learning in our country. So when you first come to Australia, it could be a bit overwhelming about how do you do referencing, how do you present, what are the ways of different assignments. Now, this is where our Academic Success Center can help students. So we do have career advisors and we do have academic success advisors on every campuses to assist students if they need any extra help. Our way of teaching students are completely different. As some of you may know, that we actually follow no exam rule in our for any of our courses. So any course that you apply for, there is no exam, which means the teaching can be a bit more innovative as well. So we don't follow a regular lecture kind of a mode of delivery. We believe in more interactive workshop. Our lecturers follow 10-minute rule, which means that any lecture or any workshop that goes on cannot go on for more than 10 minutes. Our lecturers come from a very industrial background, which means that they are not just qualified, they also have industry background. They have a qualification and experience in the industry that they're actually going to teach students. And we also have.
Manisha, yeah. So you just said that it is fully no exam based, the
Correct.
assessment.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
means students, it is fully assignments based, or there is some
It
sort
is
of other.
fully assignment based, yes. And
Okay.
that is something which is been very helpful for the student, because I think that gives you more a more benefit and more exposure towards doing the actual skills which will be required in future for their career as well. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what is mentioned on the slide as well. So it's a zero assessment, but it is fully assignment, no exam, and students learn on the go. So when you actually sit for a lecture, as such, when I say a lecture, it's workshop. So there's more like a one-on-one discussions and a group discussions happening in our classroom.
And other than this, is it possible if sometimes what happens, the student is if someone is not on student visa on 485, simple question is there any availability of recorded sessions if student is unable to join that live session or workshop?
We do recommend students to attend the classes because of the
Mhm.
requirement of the visa. But
Mhm.
yes, there are some online classes as well, and we do record the sessions as well. So students can
Okay.
always work out some options. Yeah, but
Mhm.
because of the visa
Visa
regulations
rules,
and
yeah,
everything,
students.
obviously there, yeah, so we do
This is for
require
those
students to be
students
on
who
campus.
are not on student visa,
Correct.
and
Yeah,
those
yeah,
students that
yeah.
don't
No.
have to meet that condition.
Yeah, as I mentioned about the academic success, students can always have and plan their studies with the academic success
Mhm.
advisors who can
Yeah.
help them to plan their studies as well. Yeah. So these are some of the examples that we have just mentioned on what way the academic success center can help the students. It will be planning their assessments or understanding a task, or even a simple like a presentation. Students might need help with how do I present, what is the right pronunciation, and for job interviews. So this is where we support the students a lot. Now the next one is Career Central. Now this is far most, I think, the most popular support that we can give our student, and most important as well. Our Career Central plays a significant role in students employment, and they provide them with all the tools that is necessary. One of the key areas that we actually focus in Career Central is internship program. I will talk in detail later about internship program, but that is just one part which Career Central looks after. They do a lot of things apart from internship with the students. For example, they even help you with the CV or cover letter. We do a lot of mock interviews as well. We provide a lot of networking opportunities for the students. So we have a lot of events, live events, campus events happening on campuses, in different campuses, where students can actually build up their networking skill, which is obviously most important when they start working. Our Career Central team does a lot of business consulting projects as well, especially for MBA program. We do have a lot of projects which students can actually opt for if they're doing an MBA program. Talking about internship, as I mentioned that Career Central actually helped with an internship program. Our internship program has helped student in gain employment. So our very own statistics as per the students show that out of at least 5 students, 2 students have gained full-time enrollment or full-time employment after they have done their internships with us. Third, and the most important as well, is the student experience team. Now, the student experience team is the face of Kaplan Business School. They are there on campus and probably the first point of contact for every student. So, every campus that you go, you will always see some staff, 5 or 6 student experience officers on campus to help the students. Now, they can do like an everyday inquiry. How do I book an accommodation? Can you help me? Where do I? Can you give me some reference for an accommodation? Or how do I travel? If the students are new, they need to know, how do I travel? How do I apply for a health service, bupa, or all those kind of questions. So our student experience team are actually there to answer everyday questions. Apart from that, they advise on timetable, they advise on study load, campus change, course transfers. So these are all the inquiries that are attended by our student experience team, which is
And how
available for all the
students can
students.
reach to that student advisors,
Sorry.
like through how students can reach to student
So,
advisors,
as I
like on
mentioned, they will be on campus. There is
on
also
campus.
a way to call this our team, student experience team. So
Mm.
it's more like a contact, over the phone. But we
Okay.
have 5 or 6 student experience staff member every day on the campus at every
Mm.
campus. Apart from student experience staff, we also have student ambassadors. Now, these are our students who are actually studying, who are our student ambassadors and guide the students in their journey. So when say you start a new trimester, students usually look for support from other students. This is where student ambassadors can help them and guide them about how to settle down and what exactly they need to have, in their while they're studying with Kaplan Business School. As I mentioned earlier about the lifetime learning, I just want to elaborate on the alumni as well. So these are the graduates. When you are a graduate of Kaplan Business School, we still continue to support our students through an alumni community. So you become automatically a part of our alumni community. Our Career Central and our student experience team do a lot of events for our alumni community as well, which means you can always continue to stay in touch, build up your networking, attend to our events, workshops, and even take an access of all the course materials or anything that you want even after you have graduated. So this is one of the benefits of Kaplan Business School. So this is pretty much about the support service that I wanted to speak about. I can quickly go into the courses and I can just give a bit of an overview of the course. I'm sure most of the courses are available on our website. I strongly recommend all the listeners to go on the website or contact PFEC if they need in detail information about our courses. So, as I mentioned, we offer undergraduate and postgraduate courses. So, we offer diploma courses, diploma of business, diploma of IT, and our undergraduate courses are bachelor courses, bachelor of business. We have different streams like accounting, hospitality, management, marketing, and we also have a bachelor of IT course. Now, our IT course has been very popular as well because it has been recently launched in 2023, and we do offer diploma and bachelor's. A master's degree has been very popular, and it has been one of the top two. Our MBA program has been one of the top two in the most of the providers. We have master's degree in Masters of Business Administration, Masters of Business Analytics, Masters of IT, and we also have an accounting program. Something before I go on the master's program, there is something called a pathway program, which is a PQP program, which also sometimes benefits the students. Say, if there's any student who is not quite right there to be eligible for a master's program, so if you hold a degree but you are not quite eligible for a master's program, we can actually offer you a PQP program. So, for example, if a student has done an advanced diploma or an associate degree, or if a student has done a diploma and has a work experience, and if we check the equivalence, of course, and if you qualify, you can do a PQP program with us, which is only for 4 months with 5 subjects. And once you do that PQP program, you can directly qualify for a master's program with us. So it can be Masters of Business Administration to start with, or Business Analytics, IT, any program after PQP. Now,
And
as I mentioned, yeah.
for the qualifying programs, is there any entry requirements for students that they have to?
Yes, there will be, like, as I mentioned, it will be like an advanced, you will have to have either an advanced diploma or an associate degree or a diploma with a 2 years work experience. It has to be in a related field. We will
Mhm.
also look at the entry requirement, what the student has done previously, and also the English score. But this is something which our admissions will be able to advise further once we look at the application. But yes, it will
Okay.
be regular. It will be assessed like a regular application.
Okay. So one
Yeah.
more question. If someone doesn't have any relevancy, previous background relevant to the new course, so is it
Yeah.
possible through that pathway course student can get enrolled into masters?
It depends upon what the student has done. If the student has
Mm.
done an advanced diploma, again, we will look at the AQF level of what the provider is. Then you can apply for a PQP. But if you have done a diploma, then we would need a 2 years experience at least. Yeah. And that
Okay, in the
experience
same
has to
field.
match with the, yeah, in the same field, similar field. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But of course, yeah, feel free to apply, and we can always look at the qualification and
Mm.
the experience and advise better. Yeah. But if the students are eligible, of course, there are programs offered through Kaplan Business School. First one is Masters of Business Administration, where we offer a lot of specializations. We have 8 different specializations for our MBA program, from project management, health service management, data driven. Students can opt either for no specialization program, or they can do only one specialization, or they can do double specialization. Now, our MBA program is very popular because of the internship as well. In MBA, we do a lot of projects. Our Career Central team is constantly busy doing a lot of projects for MBA programs. So it's highly recommended for students to do an internship program as well and take the benefit of internship. As I mentioned,
Internship paid or unpaid for students? Yeah, usually
um,
students ask these questions.
yes,
This
yes,
question
and
you
yeah,
are
and it has proven that it helps them a lot, because in Australia, at least, when you come from a different culture, when a different background, it's very important to know how the work culture is. And I
mm.
think while you're studying and taking that experience can be really beneficial to the students. Yeah.
So usually student ask this question, this internship would be paid or unpaid. Do you have any idea about this?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
So I was
Sorry.
asked,
Yeah.
students ask this question like internship would be paid or unpaid.
Internship program is unpaid. Yeah, it
Mm.
usually goes for 1 trimester and
Mhm.
for few hours, probably like around 70 to 20 hours. But yeah, it is an unpaid program. Yeah.
One trimester, 17
One
to
trimester.
18.
Yeah,
Okay.
20 weeks, 20 hours, sorry, 20
Mhm.
hours. The
Mhm.
way the process for internship is, when we usually run it during the second trimester. So when the student starts, example, they start in July, the first
Mhm.
trimester, we discuss with our student experience team and our career
Mhm.
center team. If they want to have an internship program, they can actually plan their study load, which subjects, which elective they need to do as an internship. So that first
Okay.
trimester we will guide them. From second
Mhm.
trimester, then they will be going through that process of interview. We will prepare them for the interview, and then we will do the placements. For our internship, we have strong industry network, like tie-ups. like
Mhm.
Novotel, ENY. So there are big companies which are involved in our internship programs. The next would be Master of Accounting. Accounting is also a popular course, and we are accredited through CPA and ACCA. It's a 2 year degree as well with 16 subjects. Masters of Business Analytics is also very popular now. There are a lot of jobs opportunities in business analytics because it's not really fully technical, but it's still technical. So students who have some fair knowledge about technical part but still wants doesn't want to go into an IT course, Masters of Business Analytics can be a very good option. So we do run this program in every campus. There is an internship options for Masters of Business Analytics as well, and it is a 2 year degree with 15 subjects. We, and as I mentioned, are very popular Masters of IT course because IT is booming right now, and there are so many job opportunities in IT as well. So we do have, considering the demand in Australia for jobs and even globally. As I mentioned, we have a global presence. Our specializations are designed in a way that there are job opportunities. So we have specialization from analytics, cybersecurity, web and mobile development, and programming. Most popular has been cybersecurity and programming. Otherwise, students are just going through the general specialization so that everything gets covered in that. So yes, we do have IT program in all the campuses, and again, internship program is available as well. I'll touch base little bit about scholarship, but of course, this is case to case and students' eligibility. But we do offer some scholarships to the students. It can range from 5% to 20 or 25%, but we will look at the eligibility of the students. Apart from that, we do have some special scholarships like alumni scholarship, which is a 30%. As I mentioned, students who have graduated from Kaplan Business School, and if they want to apply again, they can apply under the alumni scholarship. We have a higher achiever scholarship as well, which is a 30%. We will look at your latest qualification, and if you have a overall grading of 75% and above, we can give you a 30% scholarship on higher achievement. So these are some of the scholarship that we offer to all the students.
And do student needs to like they need to apply separate, put a separate application for scholarship, or it will be automatically granted?
That's a good question, Preeti. Yes, for higher achiever or alumni, students will have to apply. There are some
Mhm.
scholarship fee waivers that can be given by default, looking at the eligibility of the students. So that will
Mhm.
be obviously done through the normal admission process, which will be mentioned in the form. Yeah. Now, just to touch base, as we are trimester based, all our intakes are trimester wise. So we have March, which we have just started. Next is July. We have an accelerated intake in September, which is just one subject in September, and then we have a November intake. So I've just mentioned quickly just the start date and everything for our trimesters. If students are curious to know about the dates in detail, I would recommend that they should go on our website and look at the date, or they can just contact PFEC for further information. So that's pretty much it from me. Before I end, I just wanted to request all the listeners as well, if they are curious about any of these information that I have mentioned, they can always look on our Facebook page as well, or of course, PFEC is there to guide them in further. That's pretty much for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha. It was quite an informative presentation.
Thank you.
So we still have some questions like,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So is there any deadline to apply for any intake, or you are open to take the application by the last week of start of that, like before the course start?
Yeah, that's a good question, Preeti. Yes, we do usually go as per the intake deadlines. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
dates are mentioned on our website. So,
Website.
if the onshore student, we usually have a longer period for them to, because obviously they are in Australia. For offshore, there will be little different dates. But yes, there is a closing date mentioned on the
Mhm.
website as well as acceptance date. Yeah.
Okay, and sometimes what happens, students who are already onshore and have completed 6 months or 1 year of their current course and looking for, like, let's say if someone is interested for KBS,
Hmm.
well. So how it goes? Like, is it possible to get RPL based on previous studies?
Yes, so we do recognize previous studies. We do give RPL to the students. Our basically students can apply for RPL in the application form if they think that they are eligible for RPL. The subject matching will be done
Mm-hmm.
through our academics. So if it's not just the subject matching, but we also look at the learning outcome of the students. So what the students have done in past, if it matches with what we are going to teach, obviously if it matches up to 60% or 70%, yes, there will be an RPL granted to the students. Students can always take a conditional RPL to begin with if they do not have an official transcript, and then they can have a full RPL once they have an official transcript.
So that is
But yes,
possible. Usually,
yes,
students,
very much.
yeah, it
Yeah,
happens most of the times. Yeah,
yeah,
the students are currently pursuing, but they are looking for the RPL based on their current
of
course
course.
or
Yeah,
current
yeah.
semester. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice.
and
That's a good
especially for
option.
master's program, I think it is very common to apply for an RPL if the students have previously obviously studied. And so, yes, we do recognize that, and we do RPL assessment free of cost, so they don't have to apply separately. Yes, you do
Okay.
have to mention in the form. So when you fill up the form for a student, you just mention that you're asking for an RPL, and then
Mhm.
you can submit the enrollment proof and the transcript and everything, and our academics will actually do the subject matching. So I think they look at more than 70 to 80% of subject matching. If it matches, we will definitely give you an RPL.
And what about English requirement? Let's say if
Yeah,
like seeing profile, if student
yeah,
has already completed 6 months of course and don't have
yeah,
any valid English,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
from
that's a very
previous.
valid question as well. Because for onshore, we do take English requirement documents like IELTS, PTE. But apart from that, because students have already studied in
Mhm.
Australia, and in their previous study, if they have passed at least 2 units, we consider that to meet the English requirement.
Okay,
So
so
as long
students
as
get
they
over. Okay.
yes, yeah, yeah. So they can actually be considered on that factor. Or the second option is we also have an online kite test, which is our English test through
Mhm.
Kaplan, which is free of cost for the students. So, say for example, sometimes students don't have valid IELTS result.
Mhm.
If it is expired, they don't want to sit for IELTS again. You can give a kite test if you don't have, yeah, your previous studies
So what
report.
if sometimes students couldn't uh, like clear the exam, that KI test in first go? So is it
Yeah, we
possible?
do give two
Yes.
attempts. Yeah, yeah, we
Okay.
do have two
Both
attempts.
the attempts will be free of cost.
Yes, correct. Yeah. It's just that the process could be a little different, the first kite and the second kite, but yes, it's the same exam, and students can apply for the kite test with us. And they can do it at the time of application. So
Okay.
while they're doing the process of application, they can always ask for a kite test with us. Yeah.
So, Manisha, so
Yeah.
usually when students are going for regional campuses like Adelaide or let's say for Gold Coast, and is there any accommodation facilities for students?
Unfortunately, through Kaplan, we do not have any accommodation facility. But as I mentioned earlier, our student experience team are there to guide the students. There is
Mhm.
fair bit of information about different options on accommodation on our website as well. Like places like Uni Lodge or Homestay. So there is some
Mhm.
information for new students to go online on our website and look at the accommodation options. But yes, we do not book accommodation for the students.
Okay. And
Yeah, but we
public
can
transport.
definitely guide them. Yeah, we can definitely guide them on public transports, accommodations. And this is where student ambassadors come into picture. They are the ones who are already studying there in that city. They are aware of the surroundings. So students, we highly recommend students to connect, and when they first start studying with us, they can connect with student ambassadors, speak to student experience team. We come from a very diverse background as well at Kaplan Business School. So not just the students, like we have a mixed nationality. We have 90 different nationalities, I would say, in Kaplan Business School. Students come from various regions. But not just the students, even the staff comes from a different nationalities. So students can actually approach staff at the campuses and seek help and assistance, yeah, if they need any information.
So sometimes what happens, like we get students from like Colombia, let's say we talk
Mhm.
about one particular country. So those students usually, as per them, their 3 years diploma is equivalent to bachelor degree.
Yeah.
So what
Okay.
do you think? Would you be able to take those applications for masters or
Well,
what?
I will not be able to advise right now unless we see the application. So, this is something which is assessed by our experienced admission team. I strongly
Mhm.
recommend whatever profile you have, they can apply through you, and we can always assess them and guide them better if on their eligibility. And every region is handled by different regional managers. So, for Colombia, for Philippines or Vietnam or Sri Lanka or any regions, we have different regional managers. So the profiles are carefully assessed, but it is done through admissions. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Let's see if we have got any question from our viewers.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Preeti and Manisha, for such an insightful session. We have got one question. Let me read it out for you. Hi, may I know the initial deposit for MIT extension? Also, are you flexible with fees? As if I get difficulty paying fees, will KBS accept my flexible plan?
That's a very relevant question. Our initial deposit for any course will be 2,500, which includes the enrollment fee as well. Now, when it comes to flexibility, I understand that some students might need assistance with the payment. We usually don't have any kind of a payment plan for new students, but we do understand sometimes the circumstances could be a bit difficult, or there could be something that which might where students might need assistance. So once they are enrolled with us and they are a student, they are studying with us, we advise students to approach our campus team and discuss options with our student experience team about payment plan. Yeah, but
Right.
before they start, the deposit will be 2,500.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
So, Manisha, we talked about education side courses and scholarships. So, what are the other extracurricular activities? You were mentioning that you have a student ambassador team and
Yeah.
student support team. So, do
Yeah.
you also, offer some extracurricular activities like trips planned for international student, let's say a city tour, something like that from Kaplan?
We actually do. You mentioned about city tour, and that's a good point because that's where the student ambassadors come in picture as well. So when students start with us during on the orientation day, which we have on every campuses, they get an opportunity to meet our student ambassadors as well. So they
Right.
talk briefly about how they help the students in settling down, and one of the main factors that student experience team and student ambassadors do is they do a lot of events on
Okay.
campus, online. So they do city tours, they do a lot of fun things for student as well. For example, multicultural event. Very recently, I think at Adelaide we had a particular event just for a particular community, and they have some board games event done with the students. We are celebrating the multicultural week this week, and there will be a lot of other seminars and webinars done. So the campus is always busy doing things for the students and
Right.
keeping them engaged and helping them to network and bond with each other. Yeah.
This is
So these are the
definitely
things.
very good.
Yes,
So,
and I think
international students, yeah. Sorry,
of
sorry.
course, yeah, yeah,
Go
it
ahead.
helps the international students because when you're new in a country or you're new in any college or anywhere, first thing you want is you want to be settled down and you want to know people around you. And because we pride ourselves for the student support that we give, uh, we are very aware about all this support that the student want. So yeah, once they start, they get all this exposure through the different events that they have. All they have to do is once they enroll, they can look at the my KBS calendar and
Okay.
where all the events are registered. So if there's any particular event happening, any workshop happening that they are interested, they can give an expression of interest and register themselves. Apart
Right.
from that, we always update our events on our LinkedIn and on our Facebook page. And I strongly recommend that students just go and look about what are the different things that we are doing, because everything is there on social media, on our
Correct.
KBS, yeah, page.
Thank you so much, Manisha. So, international students, if you are listening to, if you're watching our live session, then you have lot packed up for from KBS. And thank you, Manisha, for sharing such beautiful
My pleasure.
insights about the life in KBS. And we have one more question.
Yeah.
Let me read it out for you. Hi, I have one more inquiry. Can you please tell me how many day classes student needs to attend weekly?
So this is basically depending on your timetable and depending upon what course you take. Like for example, if you're an MBA student, it's only two subjects per trimester. So we run two subjects per trimester, where at least one subject needs to be done in classroom because of the regulations change from last year, from July last year. Now one third of the course has to be done in class. So if you're an MBA, at least one subject per week, which means only one class per week, which will be for a duration of 3 hours. So our classes are for a duration of maximum 3 hours. So I would probably say for an MBA student, one class on campus for 3 hours. And they can choose that in their timetable. It can be a morning, afternoon, and evening. So when they do an enrollment, when they come for orientation and do an enrollment, you can choose the time slot that you need.
That's very flexible, actually.
Yes, our timetable is quite flexible. We have evening classes as well, which kind of helps for students who are working. Sometimes students try to combine two classes at a time, which is fine. So if they can manage the study load, they can probably finish two classes, two different subjects on one day. But yeah, it will be one third of subject requirement. So if you're going to study three subjects, it will be still one class, at least one subject in classroom.
Okay. And we got one more question. Is there any installment plan available?
As I mentioned earlier, payment plan we do not really offer for the new students, but we do consider if there's any kind of situation where the student might want to request for a payment plan. If there's any kind of unfortunate situations or anything, then students can feel free to contact our campus student experience team and discuss the payment plan options. Yeah.
Right, right. So Manisha, when you were talking about the classes, we
Yeah,
just have one more query. So do
sure.
you also offer extra classes, let's say during exam period, or maybe like if let's say a student miss out on a class, do
Yeah.
you provide extra classes as well for those
That's
students?
something that, yes, academic success center, as I mentioned, which helps students with the academic part. Yes, we do have a tutoring extra support. All the student have to do is just book one-on-one consultation. With Kaplan
Right.
Business School, anywhere you need assistance, just ask for it. There are student experience team, there is academic success center team. So yes, they can book a one-on-one consultation, and they can have some extra support if they are struggling with anything in terms of their studies.
Right. So we have one query based on offshore.
Yeah.
So I'll read it out for you. Based on offshore degree, can we apply credit?
That's a bit tricky. You can apply for credit. It's just that right now I will not be able to, give a bit more detail about that. But yes, students can apply for RPL as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is more based on academic department.
Yes. Yes.
Courses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one more question, Nisha, if someone has got enrolled for KBS MBA with 1.5 years duration, and later on after one semester, student is interested for extension one, is it possible to shift or transfer the course?
For MBA, we just have a 2 year degree, so we don't have 1.5. We have
Master of
1.8.
IT, Master of IT is there, yes?
Yes, yeah. Ideally, we would, looking at the student visa, students coming on student visa, we usually recommend students going for a 2 year program. But if the students have enrolled for a lesser duration, the course transfer is possible. It's just that it has to be done before the trimester ends. So if you are
Okay.
already a student with us and you realize that, oh, I want to change my course, if you're doing it towards the end of trimester, it might be difficult for us to adjust. So they can always approach the campus team and discuss this option. But for students on student visa, especially, we would obviously recommend them going for an extension program. Yeah,
2 years,
for a
yes.
2 year
We
program.
usually recommend that only, yes. But
Yes. So we have a
sometimes
2 year for accounting, we have 2 year for IT program, and an MBA is by default a 2 year program. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I hope people who are watching our live session have received quite insightful information from Manisha. And over to you, Preeti.
yes, thank you, Manisha. We really appreciate for your time and efforts today. It was quite an informative and interesting, actually, session. We came to know, yeah, many things about KBS. We were not aware. Our viewers were not aware. Thank you for your time, Manisha.
Thank you so
Um,
much, Preeti. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
Manisha, we have one more
Yeah.
question. So
Okay.
that I think that would be the last question.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, keep it
Yeah,
going.
yeah. So the question is, as KBS are giving 10 to 30% scholarship, may I know how the scholarship processed based on IELTS or previous qualification? So how's the scholarship basically assessed in Kaplan Business School?
That's a good
What do
question.
you say?
Yes. So scholarships are usually obviously recognized on the previous qualification that the student have done, whether they are eligible, depending upon what scholarship they are. Like a higher achiever, as I said, it's purely on a qualification that they have done. Apart from that, if the students are eligible, we will look at the academic entry, if they have met the academic requirement, and it depends on region to region as well. So
Correct.
something worth applying for, and then obviously the admissions will advise in further how much is the eligibility. Yeah.
Right, right. Thank you so much. I think it's pretty much we have covered all the questions asked. If you have any other question for Manisha, please feel free to drop in the comment and we'll make sure to, arrange a new live session where we can,
Yeah.
target on those questions
Yes.
and we can have like like question and answer series with
Yes.
Manisha in future.
More than happy to answer any questions if anyone has. If they reach out to you, and if you want some information, feel free to contact me anytime.
Right, right. And we also have a dedicated team of education counselors based in Adelaide, Melbourne, Perth, and Sydney. So feel free to reach out to us between 9:30 to 5:30. We are available. And please follow us on our social media pages to get latest update and also such insightful live session notifications. Yeah, all good. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank
Manisha.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Preeti.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you. Thank
Thanks.
you to our viewers as well for joining today.